Jadev is back at it here to give everyone my final Walking Dead Season 10 episode reaction video. But before I continue with that, it's extremely important. I watched this episode early on AMC Premiere. The episode doesn't air until Sunday night, in case you're wondering. So if you're not caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching The Walking Dead, I suggest that you take the initiative and pay attention to the episode title, which of course I'll put in the description for you. If that's the case and you find out that you're not caught up, I suggest, and so would everyone else, that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. This is going to be The Walking Dead Season 10, episode number 22, the Season 10 finale. The episode title is called Here's Negan. Finally, this is going to be my reaction review recap of the episode. It starts off with Maggie and Hershel. They're walking together, and they start singing, "You Are My Sunshine, My Only Sunshine." And then Maggie sees Negan working with another Alexandrian. They kind of glare at each other. And Maggie, of course, says hi to the Alexandrian named Barbara and doesn't say anything to Negan. And while this is happening, Carol is observing this from her window. And then we see Carol taking Negan to the cabin. I think this was the cabin from the second episode of the bonus episodes. I'm not entirely sure. And all Negan's stuff is in this cabin. And she tells Negan that the council has voted to banish Negan from Alexandria. Negan questions whether or not the council really did banish him, or this is more of Carol seizing the reins situation. And then Carol says, kind of smirks and gives Negan a rabbit, I presume to eat. Negan starts drinking at his cabin and then starts hallucinating that the leather jacket swearing Negan is sitting in a chair next to him, talking trash to him. And new Negan calls old Negan. So new Negan, that's a nice guy that likes kids, is calling the old leather jacket wearing Negan a clown. So Negan goes back to the site of the Season 8 finale, where the glass is hanging from the tree where Rick slit Negan's throat. And we do get a quick scene of that happening again. And Negan starts digging holes looking for Lucille, his barbed wire wrapped baseball bat. He eventually does find it buried. Negan seems pretty happy to see his baseball bat. And then we see a 12 years earlier flashback. Some biker guy or some biker guys have Negan tied up in the past, just after the apocalypse started, I'm presuming. And all Negan really cares about is this cooler that he has Lucille's cancer treatment stuff in. And he wants to get it back to her. And Negan talks about where he gets the stuff from to this guy. And he goes to the people he gets the stuff from. This is another flashback that just happened weeks ago or something like that. And he says he doesn't want to hurt anybody when he gets there. They've got a couple guys on duty and one other guy. And he's having like issues, like he's somewhat hallucinating this, or something's going on in his mind. Or maybe he doesn't want to hurt anybody and he's scared. And he all of a sudden gets whacked in the head with a baseball bat by a returning former savior, former Alexandrian, Laura, the one that died in Season 10 by Beta. So Laura comes back for this episode. Didn't expect that. And then this other character that's kind of in charge of this whole place, Franklin, gives Negan the cancer stuff he needs for Lucille. Negan does bring the stuff back to Lucille, obviously. He's trying to kill a walker, and he stabs it in the eye, and that doesn't work. And all of a sudden, Lucille, out of nowhere, shoots the walker in the head, killing it. And then we go to Negan getting gas for their generator that's keeping the stuff for Lucille cold. And when Negan gets back, seems like Lucille's having some issues, maybe a fever or something like that, chills or something like that. Negan starts singing, "You are so beautiful," while they're sleeping or they're just laying down. And then we get a scene of Lucille giving Negan a leather jacket for an anniversary gift. And it turns out this is a leather jacket that Negan had bought himself. And Lucille got mad because he put that money on a credit card. And they could have saved the money. So Lucille says she's going to take it back. And Negan's like, "I don't have the receipt anymore. I threw it out." Well, turns out Lucille just had this leather jacket stashed in a crawl space all this time. So she gave it back to him finally. So Negan's pretty happy about that. And then Negan and Lucille start to get it on. And then the next morning they wake up and the generator ran out of gas and the stuff for Lucille's cancer treatment heated up. So it's no longer good. It needs to be kept at a certain temperature. So Negan says he can figure out where the folks are that he gets the stuff from, the Franklin guy and Laura, and he can pinpoint their location or pinpoint where they're going to be next, and he can get more of it. And Lucille just says, "No, don't worry about it. We don't need it. We just want to, I just want you here." Essentially, is what she says. She doesn't want Negan to go. She just wants him here to be with her. And Negan's like, "No, I'm determined to do this." And then we get another flashback 7 months before the 12 years. And Lucille is getting an MRI. And of course, that's the point where she finds out she has cancer. And that particular time, she needs a ride home from the appointment, but can't reach Negan. And she pieces together stuff, and we don't see everything. She probably goes out on her own and finds this out. But she figures out that Negan and her friend Janine are having an affair based on the fact that she called Negan's PO because that's where he told her he'd be. And his PO says that Negan's on the calendar for another 2 weeks. So she has this notion that Negan and Janine are having an affair. And then when Negan gets home, Lucille has a gun sitting right next to her. And when he gets back in, he's like, "Is something wrong?" He can tell like not everything's right. And Lucille grabs some cancer pamphlets and puts them on the table. She doesn't grab the gun. And of course tells Negan that she has cancer, but doesn't mention anything about the affair. And then back to 12 years later, this is actually right after Negan and Lucille got it on, and then the generator made all the cancer stuff go back because it ran out of gas. She, of course, at that point tells Negan that she knew about Janine. She knew about the affair, and she knows that Negan made up for her because right when he found out she had cancer, he stopped seeing Janine and was totally there for Lucille. And he made up for it at that point. And if he really wants to help, this is the part where all he has to do is just stay with her. Don't leave, stay with her. And Negan says she only has 3 treatments left. And he's determined to see it through. So he leaves and he goes to the place. He finds Franklin and Laura. And Franklin does give Negan what he needs. And Laura gives Negan the bat she used to hit Negan with for protection. The ominous baseball bat. And then back to the biker guy. Negan finally tells him where the guy with the medicine, Franklin and Laura, are, and goes to find. And then this biker guy goes to find them. He comes back saying Negan's story checked out, lets Negan go, and gives him his cooler back. So Negan goes back home to Lucille, and unfortunately for Negan, Lucille has turned. She's in her room. And there's like a note on something on the wall that says, "Don't let me." I don't know if Lucille killed herself, possibly, or she just got so weak that she died. But unfortunately, Lucille is gone. So what Negan does is he puts barbed wire on the baseball bat that Laura gave him, and he decides to burn the home down, which of course would kill the turn to Lucille, and he is pissed. So he goes back to where the biker guy is, where he has that Franklin guy tied up now, and wondering where that Franklin guy keeps the good stuff. The biker guy's asking him that. And then he starts killing all the men, and eventually Negan kills the biker guy with Lucille. And then we go back to present time, where Negan's still out in the area where Rick slit his throat and the glass on the tree. I don't know why that's really there. That seems kind of odd, but anyway, he kills a walker that's kind of been approaching him this whole time with Lucille, and he hit the walker so hard that he actually cracked Lucille. He cracked the bat. So Negan goes back to the cabin, decides to burn the bat. As he's doing this, or right before he does that, he says sorry to the real Lucille for naming a baseball bat after her, and that he hopes she found somebody and that she's screwing her brains out in the afterlife. As fair is fair. Not really, but if it happened, whatever. And then Negan is sorry that that she went out the way she did. So it sucks that Lucille went out the way that she did, and it's really sad. And that's kind of the end of that, as he puts Lucille in the fire, the baseball bat Lucille, and burns that as well. And then Negan returns back to Alexandria. He sees Maggie, Carol, Herschel, baby Herschel, or not such a baby anymore, but mini Herschel, I should say, and Daryl. Carol walks up to him, and Negan tells her that staying at the cabin isn't going to work out. And it seems like Carol made up the whole thing about the council, having Negan banished due to kind of the Carol smirk. And then Carol said that because, well, Maggie will kill him, and she doesn't want his death on her conscience. So she did something to try to get Negan out of that situation. But now that he's back, it's not on her conscience anymore. And then Maggie and Negan kind of glare at each other, with Maggie this mean look and Negan kind of this like smirk. And that's how this season and the episode ends. So what a pretty awesome episode. I didn't expect to see Laura in this episode. I should have known she'd be in it. I think I read the cast list at one point in time, but I guess I just kind of overlooked the fact that she's in the cast list and has been for a while. So pretty good. I mean, you can't give this episode anything less than a 10. It was a great development of a backstory that we didn't know. And even though it had flashbacks, kind of like some of the episodes, and a lot less characters, this episode delivered. And the fact that the chemistry between Negan and his real life wife it was just amazing. She was perfect for Lucille. I'm glad that they chose her as Lucille. If the pandemic didn't happen and they did an episode like this, I don't know if they would have chose his wife to be Lucille. It's possible they would have, but I don't know. So 10 out of 10, like I said, there's nothing wrong with this episode. It was a great episode. Negan was amazing. You almost always, anybody that still is mad at Negan for what he did to Glenn and Abraham, this episode should change your opinion on that. I mean, I forgave Negan a long time ago when it came to that, but this episode should kind of reasons why Negan does the things that he does, and now he regrets all those things. He thinks the old Negan with a leather jacket is a clown. So, character of the episode, obviously Negan. He was amazing, and it really sets up season 11 well. What's going to happen between Maggie and Negan? That's what I want you to put in the comments section. What do you think is going to happen ultimately between Maggie and Negan? I think, and this has already happened a bunch of times with Negan, something is going to happen to Minnie Herschel where Negan saves Minnie Herschel and Maggie forgives Negan, maybe gives him a hug, which would be very crazy if she did, but something's going to happen to Minnie Herschel where Maggie forgives Negan and they somehow coexist at Alexandria. I think, but Negan's done enough to redeem himself already. Does he really need to be redeemed by Maggie? Or will she kill him? Who knows? If she was going to kill him, you'd think she would have done it already. Who knows? But I want you to leave that in the comment section. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead and you like Negan, and you like Here's Negan, or you just like episodes of The Walking Dead, I know these bonus episodes haven't been the best, go ahead and smash that like button. If you know anybody that would be interested in these reaction videos, share the video with them. Make sure you comment what you think will happen between Maggie and Negan in season 11. And last but certainly not least, don't forget that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.